Heyo. It's a little windy. I'm gonna apologize in advance for some of the wind. I'll try and see if I can cut a little bit of it out, but I wanted to get this beautiful view in the video. Today is the last hiking day. Camino Muxía Finisterre, day 5, where I went from Muxía to Finisterre. And this is kind of the view outside of our hostel where we're staying, our hotel where we're staying. And so, I don't know, it's just gorgeous, and I love being on the water like this, and so I thought it'd be nice for the last video to kind of have that in the background. The last couple of days have been full, but really nice. Yesterday, Mom and I started from Dumbria, I believe, and ended in Muxía, and so it was, I forget the distance, but we had a few ups and downs, particularly downhill. So if we think about where we were coming from, we were slowly coming downhill because we're going to end at sea level. And so 2 days ago we did a little bit of downhill, but then yesterday there was a fair amount left to get down to the bottom. So that was a little bit slow going because there was gravel and steepness and stuff like that, but we took it steady, one step at a time. Stopped for lunch, stopped for a snack, water, all that. Weather was a little better on day 4 yesterday. No rain again, thankfully. Hot but not super hot, or like sunny, warm but not hot, and it was good. We saw, I'm trying to remember if we saw people we had seen before. I don't recall, but we had some really good, met up with some folks along the way, had some good conversations, and then ended up in Muxía. And I remember I have some pictures of when we come out of the woods and you can see the water, and like you hit the coast, and after 6.5 or 6 weeks of being in Spain, coming into France and walking across the country, we were at the coast, and it was very cool. And then you keep going down, like you see the water and then you kind of don't see the water again, and then you go down until you get to the bottom. And the place where we stayed was a hotel down near the water, and we had like a sea view, and it was just gorgeous. It was really, really nice. We went up, we rested because it had been a long day, and so we passed our hotel before we got to like kilometer 0, and so we went, showered, kind of like got all our stuff together, and then went down to kilometer 0, which was a good idea because we were just so exhausted that if we had tried to go straight we would have collapsed. And the views were just amazing. It was mad windy though. It was so windy and cold. In my head I was just like, beach, sun is out, shorts, but it was cold and windy, but gorgeous. And there's this big church at the coast there, Our Lady of the Boat, Nuestra Señora de la Barca, I believe, because of this whole story of Mary and St. James and a boat that happened, that's like surrounded by Muxía. I didn't know that meant that inside Our Lady of the Boat there would be like a whole lot of boats. There's like all these little and big like pictures of boats and like model boats and stuff like that. It was cool. So yes, we hung out there. We ended up seeing someone that I had known before or walked with before, which was cool, and just took some pictures by the big 0 kilometer, it's not big, by the 0 kilometer marker, and ate dinner and just enjoyed being on the water and being at the coast. And I was just reflecting on, like, I don't know, that I did it and that we did it. Mom was awesome, is awesome, but was awesome over the last 4 days, doing about 70 miles of walking from Santiago de Compostela to Muxía, in some hills and descents, unlike those present in Virginia. So it was a good experience, but it was one where we learned a lot about our gear and what was good and what wasn't. So I think she's also got the bug and will come back again, but you'll have to ask her. Today was the last day. Mom took a taxi down here to Finisterre, and because it was a little longer, today was Yesterday was like 25K, and today was more like 35K. And so I did that one by myself, and it was really nice. It went really well. I ran into a couple people I hadn't seen in a bit, and just was in the woods. It was just very calm. This particular route between Muxía and Finisterre is the one that people walk in both directions. So sometimes people go to Finisterre first and then they go up to Muxía, or they go to Muxía first and then they go down to Finisterre, which is what I did. But because of that, you see people going back and forth all day, and the little markers are going in both directions, which was kind of cool. And then we got here. It was just really, it was a really really nice. I mean, it was an intense walk. By the time I got here, it's like 20 miles. My legs were jelly. I went to get my Finisterre certificate that you get. Mom got a Muxía certificate for walking to Muxía, and I got one for walking to Finisterre. And so I went to get that, and then just like legs were jelly. But it was a long day, but it was a really nice one. Like mostly woods and coastal waters and like this kind of view. And I did originally, when I got here, I wanted to go down to the Cape, because the actual kilometer 0 in Finisterre is at the Cape Finisterre, like down at the bottom. So when you get to the town, you still have to go a little bit for the Cape. And you know how far you have to go? Like another couple miles. And then you have to walk back, because I mean, I guess you could get a taxi, but it's like 2 miles, 4 kilometers down and another 2 back. And I had already done 20, and we're just like, well, I guess we're not going to kilometer 0 this time. And that's okay. Maybe I'll do it the next time around. But we saw kilometer 0 up in Muxía, and so that's good enough for me. But the lighthouse in Finisterre is supposedly wonderful. So maybe my next Camino, I'll walk directly to Finisterre and go up and go to the Cape and do that part. But today I did not, because I was tired, and that's okay. And our view is like the water anyway, so I'm pretty good with that. Yeah, I met one of the guys I saw on the road today. He was like, "Is it your last day?" It's like, "Yeah, it's my last day." You? It's like, "Yeah." And we just talked about like taking the bit of the Camino with us, and the tranquility and the thoughtfulness that we have, the connection with people who are strangers. He was like, "I don't know you, but we're here like reflecting together about our journey and how much we don't want to let go, but how much we want to keep with us as we go back to our lives." And it was just very moving to have this conversation with someone. We'd seen each other a little bit before, but we hadn't actually talked. And so he was like, "Yeah, like, how are you? You doing all right?" So it was really nice to reflect together on that. And yeah, I'm constantly reflecting. Got a lot I want to write down, think about. But there's no more walking. I mean, Camino walking. Tomorrow we leave. We take the bus to Santiago and then to Porto in Portugal. And then we leave on Wednesday and fly back to the States. And I figure out how to walk every day, even if it's not 15 to 20 miles. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll make another video once I'm home as a wrap up. But this is kind of yesterday and today, and yeah, Finisterre, the end of the earth. Fisterra in Gallego or Galician. Choose.